Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds. At Mint Mobile, we like to do the opposite of what Big Wireless does. They charge you a lot, we charge you a little. So naturally, when they announced they'd be raising their prices due to inflation, we decided to deflate our prices due to not hating you. That's right. We're cutting the price of Mint Unlimited from $30 a month to just $15 a month. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 up front for 3 months plus taxes and fees. Promo rate for new customers for limited time. Unlimited more than 40 gigabytes per month. Slows full terms at mintmobile.com.
On today's Smart 7, Rishi may face a new leadership challenge, Putin victorious in Russian elections and much more. It's Monday, 18th of March, it's Awkward Moment Day, and happy birthday, Adam Levine.
The Smart 7. It's news, but not the news.
This weekend saw new questions raised around Tory megadonor Frank Hester's relationship with Rishi Sunak after The Guardian reported the PM was flown to Leeds for a private tour of Frank's business last November. It follows a week of backlash for the Tories after an earlier Guardian report alleged Hester had made racist and misogynistic comments about former Labour MP Diane Abbott. Rishi then came under fire for taking a full 24 hours to condemn the comments. But Transport Secretary Mark Harper says the delay was down to fact-checking.
So the newspaper reports things, you do want to go and check the facts are correct, and then I think the Prime Minister was very clear about it, that they were racist comments and they were unacceptable and wrong, and he made that very clear. Both his spokesman made it very clear and he himself made it very clear in the House of Commons on Wednesday. I was there, I heard him, he was very robust and clear about it.
Diane Abbott was herself suspended from the Labour Party last April after making racially insensitive comments in an open letter published in The Guardian. Now, Labour politician Baroness Amos says it's time for Diane's suspension to be reviewed.
Yes, I would like to see Diane come back, but I do think that given that there's a process, it's got to conclude, and then we've got to get the next steps.
With a new Tory scandal emerging seemingly every week, the pressure has been building on PM Rishi Sunak to name a date for the general election. There'd been speculation that it would be held alongside English local elections on May 2nd, but the PM put those rumours to bed on Thursday. In the meantime, rumours about a potential leadership battle within the Tory party are continuing to circulate, with ERG Deputy Chairwoman Andrea Jenkins calling for a move against Rishi last week. Labour's Jonathan Ashworth says whatever about an election date, it seems quite likely Rishi may not even be in charge by the time it finally rolls around.
Otherwise, I fear we may have a Tory leadership election ahead of a general election.
One man who is ready for the general election is Sir Ed Davey. The Lib Dem leader wasn't holding back on his feelings about the PM when he spoke at his party conference in York this weekend.
Now, of course, we don't yet know when election day will be. It's pretty much the only thing left that Rishi Sunak controls. Who knows? Maybe, despite what he says, Rishi will call the election tomorrow or next week. I certainly hope so. The country can't wait a moment longer to see the back of this terrible government.
More cracks have been forming in the Israeli-American relationship this weekend following Chuck Schumer's damning speech on Thursday. America is continuing to push hard for a ceasefire in Gaza and for a dramatic increase in aid deliveries, and the Senate Majority Leader named Israeli PM Netanyahu as one of 4 obstacles preventing peace in Gaza, and also called for an early Israeli election. On Friday, US President Joe Biden commended Schumer, although he's yet to make any official changes in policy towards Israel. But Netanyahu says that an early election would be devastating not only for Israel, but for the US too.
Till we win the war, I think Israelis understand that if we were to have elections now, before the war is won, we would have at least 6 months of national paralysis, which means we would lose the war. If we don't win the war, we lose the war. And that would be not only a defeat for Israel, but a defeat for America too, because our victory is your victory.
This weekend saw hundreds of thousands head to the polls in Russia for the presidential election. Sitting President Putin won by a landslide, securing almost 88% of the vote in a post-Soviet record, according to exit polls. His new 6-year term will allow him to overtake dictator Joseph Stalin as the longest-serving Russian leader in more than 200 years. Putin's victory comes despite thousands staging a Noon Against Putin protest on Sunday afternoon, lining up outside polling stations to vote against him. But with Putin's main opponents dead, jailed or exiled, political activist Bill Browder says he'll remain in charge for a while longer.
He has no intention of stepping down because he has no exit strategy. If he steps down, he loses his freedom, he goes to jail, he loses his money, and he probably dies. And so for Putin, staying in power is something he has to do to stay alive.
Still to come on today's Smart 7, Man United win an epic contest in the FA Cup and Usher gets sentimental right after this.
Say hello to a new era of mental health care. Cerebral is here to help you achieve your mental wellness goals with professional therapy and medication management support. 100% online. You'll experience the all-new Cerebral Way, an innovative approach to mental wellness designed around you. You'll get a personalized treatment plan from a therapist, prescriber, or both in a safe and judgment-free space. Your Cerebral therapist or prescriber will outline a customized plan with clear milestones along the way, so you can get to feeling your best. With Cerebral, you're not alone in your mental health journey. We're here to empower you to live a fulfilling life. So take that first step towards a brighter future and sign up today at Cerebral.com/podcast and use code ACAST to get 15% off your first month. Offer only valid on monthly plans. Other exclusions may apply. Offer ends July 31st, 2024. See site for details.
Welcome back. The FA Cup semi-finalists were decided this weekend after an intense round of quarter-finals. Chelsea are still in the running for their first piece of silverware since 2021 after securing a 4-2 win against Leicester City. They'll face holders Man City in the semis, who beat Newcastle 2-0 on Sunday. Meanwhile, Coventry City pulled off the biggest surprise of the weekend with a 3-2 victory over Premier League side Wolves. They'll be up against Man United, who beat Liverpool 4-3 in epic fashion on Sunday. Late substitute Amad Diallo scored the winning goal in the dying seconds of added time before being sent off seconds later for his goal celebration. Regardless, United boss Erik ten Hag seems positive about his team's performance.
We have a team is for the future. It's very good. They're coming up players who are developing, progressing very good, like Dalot, Kobe again today, Garnacho again today. Fantastic. Very good job, and you see the potential.
Usher's been having quite the year so far. The American pop star made waves with his halftime performance at the Super Bowl last month, and this weekend he was in LA as a special honoree at the NAACP Image Awards. The awards recognise the achievements of people of colour across the arts, and Usher was their top honoree, winning the President's Award for Special Achievement and Distinguished Public Service. But it was the women in his life that he wanted to thank in his acceptance speech.
Far too often in our industry do women, not get the recognition that they truly deserve. And when we first started, it was even harder for a mother to believe in the dreams that I had. Being raised from a single parent, it was a lot. But she was more defined. If anyone deserves it more than anybody, it's her.
If you're a fan of a good old-fashioned monster movie, then listen up, because the trailer for Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire has just dropped. It's the sequel to Godzilla vs. Kong and sees the pair join forces to fight against a new threat to their existence. It promises to delve more into their backstory and the mysteries of Skull Island, and it's getting released at the end of this month, so don't miss out.
We believed that life could only exist on the surface of our planet. This world has more secret than we could possibly imagine.
Kong can't stop this on his own.
He won't be alone.
Is that a mini Kong?
You've been listening to The Smart 7. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Hit that follow button and have a great day. Give us 7 minutes and we'll give you the world.
Acast powers the world's best podcasts. Here's a show that we recommend.
Hey friends, I'm Sharon McMahon, longtime government and law teacher, and on my podcast, Here's Where It Gets Interesting. I dive deeply into the stories you haven't heard about America's greatest thinkers and figureheads. I also interview many of today's leading cultural experts like Adam Grant, Ken Burns, and Patrick Radden Keefe, who share their insights, challenge us to think in new and innovative ways. So follow Here's Where It Gets Interesting on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Acast helps creators launch, grow, and monetize their podcasts everywhere. Acast.com.